fell pregnant with Cameron when I was 21 years old. He was my second child. I was nervous and really excited at the same time. The pregnancy was fine. Cameron was 10 days late. I tried for a normal birth, but I ended up having an emergency cesarean. Cameron was exactly 8 pounds born. We got him registered as Cameron Nabil Rose. Blue book, red book. That was his picture at the hospital. When he was born, he looked like a little old man. He was beautiful. He was brilliant. At the hospital, he never cried, and we took him home after 3 days, and we was just a normal family, me and my children. Everyone said how early he was for walking. He was only 10 months old and he started walking. He was a lot older than his age. He loved to dance, he loved to sing. He was such a happy little boy, and I'm not just saying that because he's not with us anymore, but it's the truth. He really was. He was beautiful. When he first started walking, it's beautiful. Cameron only had one birthday. We had a little cake at my mum's. Just me, my sister, my mum, Thierry and Cameron. His birthday card off me. Pictures with his family. That's my sister. My mum and his big brother Thierry and Cam. Me and Cam. And his cousin, who was the same age as him. I got up on the 10th of May 2007 as normal for work. I went and got Cam out of his cot and made him a hot chocolate. He likes hot chocolate. And he sat on a settee. Nicholas got up as well. And I got ready for work and left as usual. At work, normal day. I worked at Ladbrokes, a betting shop, and I got a phone call saying get to the hospital, Cameron's died. And I just know, I never took it in. Cameron's dead. What do you mean Cameron's dead? I didn't understand, and they told me police were coming to get me, to take me to the hospital. After 5 minutes, no one turned up, so I got in a black cab and went to the hospital myself. When I got to the hospital, I got out of the taxi and I looked over at the emergency A&E, and Nicholas was being handcuffed by 3 police officers, and I ran over to him and asked him what's going on, and he said they think I killed Cam, and I just couldn't get my head around it. I couldn't understand why they thought he killed Cameron. And I went into the hospital and I seen my mum and my sister, some friends and other family members, and the whole faces was just red and they were just crying. And I think that's when it hit me. That's when I fell to the floor and I just couldn't get over the fact that my baby was gone, and I was screaming saying no, not my baby. baby. The straight away police come up to me and said, can we have a word with you down the police station? We just want to talk about Cameron. And I went along with them. I was there for the day, and then they ended up arresting me for manslaughter by gross negligence and allowing the child to die. I was in the police station for 2 days until I had magistrates court, and then I wasn't allowed bail, so I got sent to prison for 9 days, and then back to Crown Court where I was allowed bail, but I wasn't allowed to speak to any of my family members or nothing. All I wanted was my baby. And in the prison, the lady said to me, don't tell no one why you're here. And I didn't understand why, because I didn't do nothing wrong, and said no, it don't matter whether you're guilty or not guilty, don't tell no one you're here. So I was just sitting there crying my eyes out in the cell because all I wanted was my baby, and I couldn't talk to no one to tell him that my baby's just been killed and I just want him. These are some of the storylines, news clippings. Cameron got buried 2 months after he died, and I was allowed to his funeral, even though I wasn't allowed in Birmingham. But the rules was I couldn't go into Birmingham before 10 o'clock, and I had to be out of Birmingham by 4 o'clock. So I had to get on the train from Gloucester on my own, attend my son's funeral on my own. My family is sitting there and I can't really have a conversation with them. So I had to deal with it really all on my own. We got him a beautiful horse and carriage. It was a lovely day, sunny, bright, but it was just so horrible. When his coffin went into the ground, I just wanted to go with him. My mum was the one that had looked after his grave while I wasn't here. She come up every day, made sure his flowers was fresh, made sure his grave was nice, made sure he had toys on there. This was it when it first. Here was a few of the sympathy cards I got. And even of all of them said that they wanted to hug me, they wanted to be there for me, to help me grieve for my son, but they wasn't allowed because I got accused of killing my baby when I really had nothing to do with it, and I just wasn't understanding why my baby was dead. I couldn't understand, I couldn't get it into me. I couldn't believe that Nicholas even done that. At court, I was finally discharged. I was finally acquitted of all charges before they even got to the jury, as the judge said that there wasn't enough evidence, and I was reunited with my family, and it was such a bittersweet day because yes, I'm happy, I'm no longer accused of murdering my son, but my son still wasn't here, so it was no good really. And out of all the news clippings with my name all over the newspapers about me being charged, that's all I got about me being cleared. So a couple of months later, Nicholas had to have another trial on his own. After all the evidence was read, he wouldn't take to the stand, and he got found guilty and was found guilty and sentenced to 17 years in prison before he could go on the sit in front of a parole board. He has never admitted it. I don't think he ever will now. It's been 7 years. And the thought that he can be out in 10 years, it just kills me. He took my baby's life. Someone I loved took my baby's life. And I feel so guilty for even bringing him into his life. Here's the newspaper clipping of him. When Cameron died, in court they said he died of abdominal injuries. He had that many bruises on his body that they couldn't count them. I lived over the road from a doctor's surgery. That's how close I lived to a doctor's surgery. And Nicholas took him to his mum's house, who lived 15 minutes down the road. He must have been in so much pain. And when he got to his mum's, they never phoned an ambulance for another 15 minutes, and I just can't understand why. Was they trying to get the story straight? I don't know, but why would they leave my son in that much pain? When the ambulance come, they tried to resuscitate him, and Nicholas blamed all the bruises on his body from the paramedics trying to resuscitate him. These are the clothes that my baby was wearing on the last day of his life. This was one of Cam's favourite toys. He loved talking on the phone to his nanny. And he loved getting in the bath and playing with his bath toys. So the trial was over, and now we had to try and get on with our life. I received this letter after the trial, and it's a letter to say, is it okay if they take a bit of my son's brain so they can study and understand what happens when young babies have head injuries? So now my son was just a study. He wasn't a baby no more, he was just a study. I did say yes though, because I didn't want it happening to anyone else. And after the second trial, we was able to bury my son's brain and his spleen. It was in a little white box, and we kept it small. It was just close family. And we come to the cemetery, and I was holding the box, knowing that my son's brain and his spleen was in there, and it wasn't connected to the rest of his body. And we buried it. Nicholas got 3 meals a day in the prison, and every day is a life sentence for me and my family. My son Thierry, at 4 years old, when he first started reception, he had to have bereavement counselling. He had to have that for 6 weeks. and he has to have it again when he starts puberty. After that, I went a bit off the rails, going out drinking, leaving off every night. Always had a bottle of vodka in my hands, doing things I shouldn't do. And I met this man. No, it was hard at first. Trust, it still is hard. But we ended up falling in love. He helped me a lot. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be now. I don't think I'd have my son Thierry, because I really think my mum was probably on the verge of taking him. No, not because of her, because of my actions. I wasn't caring about him at all. I was being selfish, and then I got married 15th of September. That's my family there now. We have 2 beautiful children together, as well as Thierry. This is Thierry now. Every day is a struggle for me and Thierry, but we try our best to carry on as normal, and I don't want their life affected, so I deal with my grief on my own. When everyone's in bed, I'm the last one up, and that's when I cry myself to sleep most nights. So it's the guilt that kills me the most. I'm just covered in guilt because I brought the man into my son's life, and I just can't get over the fact that it is my fault too. I wanted to do something in his name. I didn't want Cameron's life to be wasted, so I set up a charity called Kams Cuddles, and it was to help children who have been abused or been affected by child abuse, and we fund activities for them, or school trips, days out, and sadly we fund a cost towards children's funerals who have been murdered. This is one of the newspaper clippings. But that's my counselling. That's what gives me the strength to carry on, knowing that yes, Cameron died, but his name lives on forever, and in his name living on, he's helping so many other children, and I think he will be proud of that. Well, I hope he'll be happy with that. This is his grave now. That's his resting place. And we come down as often as we can to lay flowers, to keep it tidy. I've just done this video to let everyone know what happened and how sharing Kams Cuddles got started. If you would like to support us or come to any of our events, then please look for us on Facebook, on the internet, sharing Kams Cuddles. But before you go, I just want to show you the man. That's the man who viciously murdered my baby and got 17 years in prison. He could be 8 and 10 years. Please don't forget his face. I hope he rots in hell.